Hello and welcome to this presentation. We discuss the self-service portal server request settings and show you how to set them. The self-service portal provides features to request servers, and the servers are deployed from templates or assemblies, also known as virtual appliances. The configured request settings are then the default settings for anyone using the self-service portal. Some of the settings, however, can be overridden for any role. The settings that can be overridden include the future reservation date, server duration, and the option of installing an Enterprise Manager or EM agent on deployment. Now, let's configure the self-service portal request settings. In this session, I'm logged in as a self-service administrator. Begin by navigating to the Setup menu through the Cloud option and click on Infrastructure. The Infrastructure Cloud Self-Service Setup screen appears. Now, click on the Request Settings tab at the upper left side of the screen. The future reservation value specifies how far in advance you can request a server. There is currently no restriction, so click on Restricted and the reservation input appears. Set the value here to 2 months into the future, and recall this is one of the values you can override. The request duration is the length of time a server remains available. Currently there is no restriction, but click on Restricted to set a maximum duration. First, decrease the default duration value to 1 year, then set the maximum duration to 2 years. You can also allow users to override these values by role. The restriction on networks is currently in place. We maintain this restriction so users can choose from allocated networks and use related network profiles to assign hostnames and IP addresses. If networks are unrestricted, then users can access any network or network profile. So, the best use of the network restriction is to isolate access to networks and allocate them to particular roles. The option to configure EM Agent enables the VM to be monitored by Oracle Enterprise Manager. Using this option requires some configuration of the VM prior to deployment. Uncheck this option because there will be no need to monitor VMs with Oracle Enterprise Manager. A partial deployment occurs when a multi-server assembly fails to deploy completely. Some of the servers or VMs deploy and some fail. When enabled, the option to allow partial deployment maintains the VMs that succeeded. When disabled, any failed deployment will be cleaned up and no VMs will remain. So we maintain the current setting, which disables the feature. The current value for the software library top-level folder supporting self-service portal users is Software Library IaaS Customers. Click the magnifying glass to see the software library. The software library is a tree-oriented structure in which all software components are stored. This software library is managed by the self-service or customer administrator for all users and administrators. Under the software library, click on A Sales folder. This is now the top-level folder for self-service portal users to store their assemblies, templates, and deployment plans. Assemblies can be uploaded by users, templates can be created when servers or VMs expire, and deployment plans can be created by any user to simplify multiple deployments. Recall that request settings apply to all users and administrators using the self-service portal. So, click Select. The new top-level folder value, Software Library, A Sales folder, appears in the folder name input. If you want to keep the original settings after making changes, then click the Revert button. Click Apply to keep changes to the request settings. An informational message appears at the top of the request settings page. Dismiss this message by clicking the small X at the upper right corner of the screen. Any changes will be in effect immediately for all Oracle Enterprise Manager self-service portal users and administrators. This ends the presentation. Thank you for watching.